Popped up for the inside. Can he go all the way? Yes, he can. Mark Creighton done on the outside.
Hi, and welcome to the Rugby Canada Report. I'm Cory Clements. This week, Doug Cross has gone into the archives and pulled up an interesting piece on Welsh international Ian Goff getting his pilot's license in Canada. Andrew Smith tells us about the West Indies preparing with Canada for the Hong Kong Sevens and our weekly look at the Canadian Direct Insurance League. The Rugby Canada Report is brought to you by the Rugby Canada Fishing Classic at Langara Lodge. Wales is coming to Canada for the first time since 2005 when they play at York University on May 30th. One of the players on that Welsh team was second row Ian Goff, who played with the Toronto Nomads in the mid-1990s. Doug Cross interviewed the big guy at that time when he was getting his pilot's license at Buttonville Airport.
So I'd gone back to the UK, and then by the time I'd have flown out somewhere, it was eating away at my holiday. So I had friends out here from when I played out here and lived out here. So I've stayed with them. The weather's been superb. It's only a few days that we haven't been able to fly because of winds and stuff. So the weather's just so unpredictable back home. It was great to get a lot of hours in a short space of time over here.
Well, with Ian, that was good. He originally wanted to go in a 150, which is our two-seater version of the 172 here. The weight just was not going to work. So I asked him, "What's your weight?" He's like, 110 kilos, mate. I'm like, oh, geez, that's 250 pounds. We're barely going to fit in a 172, but we made it all work here, so that was all right. Big guy, but was eager to learn, so that was really good.
But no, it's great. You know, I've been fed up with the beach holidays and stuff. I like to go away and actually do something, so better than go away and learn to fly.
That's a funny story with that. My boss was telling me that he's going to be really interested. He's a rugby player, Adam. You know that? I said, yeah. He's like, so your idea of a hard landing is going to be his idea of a soft landing. I said, oh, okay. No, but he's got a good touch. He's got a good touch to the plane. That was what we worked on hard, was keeping a good touch on the plane.
No, I just feel coward much earlier. What's going on? Oh no, no, it'd be good fun to go and sit up there and know more about what's going on.
Yeah.
And chat to the pilots maybe, and yeah, that would be cool. Just know what's going on, so you know the car crashing, you know exactly what's going to happen.
That's right.
Last week in Victoria, Canada's Sevens team was preparing for the challenge of the ever-popular Hong Kong Sevens event. But in a new twist, the squad from West Indies stopped by to work with the Canadians and provide some opposition before heading off to the Far East. Andrew Smith tells us more in this report.
With the experience of the Rugby World Cup Sevens behind them, the Canadian men's Sevens team had a week-long training camp in Victoria, BC to prepare themselves for the upcoming Hong Kong Sevens. Last week, the Canadian team was joined by the West Indies for a series of joint sessions to focus on technical aspects of the game and to try out different combinations against another competitive side. After a series of successful Sevens camps and tournaments in recent months, West Indies coach Joe Whipple spoke of how a training camp would benefit his side and and how they're ready for their first debut at the Hong Kong Sevens.
Well, it's a great opportunity to stop on the way through to Hong Kong and get a couple of runouts. We'll run out today and then we'll run out tomorrow, and it's good. You got these guys play a quality game, good structure to it, so it helps us a lot. We put an extra effort into it this year. We started off and we got the Trinidad Sevens, and we went to Uruguay for Punta del Este, which is a great Sevens tournament, and then we had our trials, which was good. Our trials were very aggressive last couple of weeks, and then now we focused on the Canada and off to Hong Kong. So it's a big thing. It's our opportunity to kind of coming out party, and so we're going to be up in their faces, and we'll try to keep the pressure on them, and we'll see how they react. We got legs too. We run pretty well. Most of the world sprinters come out of the Caribbean, not out of Kenya. So I think we can be all right there. But we just need to keep their legs down a bit and keep our legs up.
West Indies player Claudius Butt spoke of his team's strengths and how they've come together in recent weeks.
The preparation is very good at the moment. Having practice game with Canada, A team and stuff is very good too, helping us to get up to the level of the game and the speed of the game. Well, basically we have a lot of team speed, so we try to spread it wide, strike outside or hit the gaps down in the middle. So our main weapon is speed.
Canadian Sevens coach Shane Thompson said the experience was valuable for both sides in their Hong Kong preparations before speaking about his team's new faces in the lineup since the World Cup Sevens in Dubai.
The West Indies have come to Victoria for a bit of a training camp, and they're doing some of it with us, which is a great opportunity for us to try some of the things we're putting into place for the teams that we're playing in Hong Kong. So even though they're not like we have Samoa, they're not Samoa, but we're practicing like we would be playing Samoa. So it's good to have opposition besides ourselves. Otherwise, we're just playing ourselves and we don't really have the numbers. So it's great for us, and I think it's great for them. Well, as always, we go back and look at the games and see where we went, things that went well and things that didn't go well. So we made some adjustments, but for the most part, the guys played as well as they have this season. Some of it had to do with the players we had, but they trained well and they did the little things. So we're just focusing on those same areas, plus correcting a few things. We're in the final game against Portugal where we got stuck in contact too much. And it was in our plan to stay away from that. So we're trying to go back, revisit the ideas we had in the first day at a training camp, and just so that we don't run into that problem again. We've had a few changes since our last trip at the World Cup. I think we're 5 different guys here, so there's lots to cover, and it's starting over in one hand, starting over at the same time. It's getting new guys in there, some more experience for down the road. So it's going well, though.
Newcomer to the team, John Moonlight, spoke of how the team has taken him in and the expectations he may face due to having the famous Moonlight name.
Oh, I've definitely heard about it quite a bit from other boys, but I think we're kind of different players, and he kind of plays differently than me, so hopefully I don't get too much of that anymore. It's kind of a big deal for me. My cousin has played for the team for quite a few years, and it's kind of something I've watched him grow up and do it, and hopefully I could be able to do the same thing with him.
And staying on the West Coast, Andrew provides us some highlights between James Bay and the visiting UBC Old Boy Ravens. Playoffs are just around the corner, and the Bays seem to be hitting their stride.
Traveling across the Georgia Strait is always a daunting task when you're about to play James Bay at McDonald Park. To make matters worse for the UBC Old Boy Ravens, the Bays have been on a rampage, making up for lost points in the opening matches, and have kept a clean sheet in their past 2 CDI Premier League games. From the opening whistle, the Ravens were in trouble as Dan Harlow touched down to get the home side on the scoreboard. Canadian U20 star Connor Braid slotted the conversion to put the Bays up 7-0. What ensued was an onslaught of James Bay tries, as Harlow, Tyson DeGoody, and Nolan Miles had the home side leading 31-0 at the half. Through their own mistakes and faced with a ruthless James Bay defense, the Ravens failed to gain any momentum. The Bays were quick to finish the job as Hugo Bellinger capitalized on a team effort. With Braid's successful conversion, the home side led 38-0. After switching the field for several phases, the Bays spread the Ravens too thin and Nolan Miles punched in for the 45-0 lead. Despite the heavy scoreline, however, the Ravens never gave up and continued to throw everything they had at the Bays. 2 of their players would be binned in the closing minutes, leaving gaping holes in their defense. Harlow would thread through the defensive gaps twice to see the Bays take a convincing 57-0 win. Here's what 5-try scorer Dan Harlow had to say after the match about his side's recent form.
Stringed a lot of good phases together, and we used our good handling outside, and it's lucky I got some room out there tried to use a little speed and had some good guys inside me to set me in some space. Just overall, we're just trying to recycle the ball more and get some more defenders into the fray, and so we can get some more space out wide and get it wide too. We got some pretty talented guys, Dave Moonlight outside, and he can put us into some space, and we've just been working on our phase work and a little more toughness. We lost that little for a while, the James Bay sort of hardness, and we've gained that back, and now we're rolling. Have been scored on in 3 games, so we're really working our defense too.
The Bays will be pleased to know their arch rivals, the UVic Vikes, slipped into 7th place out of a playoff spot as the Bayside Sharks took a 24-13 win to keep the young squad winless in their last 4. Mariloma took a convincing 69-3 win over the Rowers, setting the table for a battle for top spot against Capilano in a couple weeks' time. Capilano were impressive at Clahany Park, beating the visiting Castaway Wanderers 44-6 to stay unbeaten and in first place. Velox stays in 3rd place following a 26-17 win over the UBC Thunderbirds, and Burnaby finally broke its duck, getting a first win of the season over Cowichan 47-20. And that's a wrap on this week's edition of the Rugby Canada Report. Don't forget, tickets are now on sale for Ireland vs. Canada on May 23rd in Vancouver, and Wales visits Toronto May 30th. Visit the Rugby Canada website for more details. The report is a co-production of Rugby Canada and the College of Sports Media. You can visit the College of Sports Media at www.collegeofsportsmedia.com. I'm Cory Clements. Thanks for watching, and talk to you next week.